Hello friends, welcome back to the another video in medicinal plants. Today we can discussion about the medicinal plants and our normal plants. How many types of the phytochemicals present, and especially we can discuss about the alkaloids, secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites, one of the important phytochemical is alkaloids. So we can details we can learning this alkaloids. Phytochemicals, so how it is formation, how it occurrence, nomenclature, classification, significance, and human welfare purpose, and plants functionals, what is importance in plants. So that's we can learning in medicine. Plants have survival. This is primary products. So next, another things is secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites are derived from the primary metabolites. So that secondary metabolites not essential, but it is required for the function protection of the cells of plants. They must be required. Further protections from the animals and environmental protections, so that secondary metabolites are derived from the primary metabolites. Especially it is a formation of a different cycles we have called the phytochemicals. From these phytochemicals are protections from the cells and the plants, plants for the survival of the environment, the biotic and abiotic stress, and the in seeds it is protection for the survival environment. After that it is a conversion of the germination in times, it is conversion, and it is further growth of the seedlings. So that is secondary metabolites are essential for the non nutrition value of the plants, so that it is very important secondary metabolites. In the secondary metabolites we generally call the phytochemicals. There are number of phytochemicals we have, but we have broadly we can classify it based on nature of the compounds. So that phenolic compounds, alkaloids, terpenoids, flavonoids, glycosides, and resins, latexes, and volatile oils, gums, all these are secondary metabolites. So that we can learning in further that, so that we have in this class we in this chapter we can learn in the alkaloids, how it is formation, how it is occurrence, alkaloid nomenclature, classification, characters, importance of the alkaloids, some and the extraction process, alkaloid significance in the human welfare further, and alkaloids functions in the plants, so that we can learning the alkaloids substance produce a secondary plant products, process of nitrogen containing heterocyclic compounds, so that they are derived from the several amino acids, lysines. It is alkaloids are derived from the some of amino acids, lysine, tryptophan, trypsin, and phenylalanine. It's a very important formation of the alkaloids. So that up to date about 17,000 alkaloids have been reported various plant species, especially in the Gibbs 1974 reported 1,400 alkaloids from a single plant. Only one single plant, 1,400 alkaloids are present in single plants. So that alkaloids have a marked physical action when taken a internal, and hence they have used primary therapeutic agent for the any alignments. The basics or alkaline characters of the alkaloids is mainly due to the anti-malarial activity, atropine for the distalis, reserpine for the IBP controlling. Those the therapeutics are poisonous properties of various plants were known it is early time. The first alkaloids are isolated from the morphine plant in 1806. No convention and systematic method of nomenclature of the alkaloids. Some of alkaloids names based on the cheap investigations of scientists, and some are the botanical source. For example, paparin from the Papaver somnifera, quinine for the Quinium musculatum, are the physiological actions. Example, morphine. So that's based on not systematic classification in the alkaloids. So that's next is alkaloid occurrence. Chief in dichotomy plants and a salt of common plants acids such as malic acid, citric acid, oxalic acid, and succinic acid and tannic acids. So some of the species alkaloids have a quininic acid in the alkaloids of a cinchona bark, and in the morphine in the group of in unripening fruits of the Papaver somnifera. Rarely their occurrence in glycosides also swollen in. So that alkaloids are found in all parts of the plants. They are occurred chiefly in fruits, seeds, some of the times in barks. For example, in the roots in belladonna, in stem, bark, and cinchona, and pomegranates and leaves in the belladonna, and fruits papaver, and even seeds Nux vomica, Streptococcus Nux vomica, and Arica. So that alkalis content of the plants varies of the species and age of the plants. Many different alkaloids usually related in structure may be present in the same species. Opium papaya containing about the 20 closely relative alkaloids. So alkaloids are fairly distribution in the large number of the plants of families. Especially some of the families are Papaveraceae, Ranunculaceae, Barbadeaceae, Amaryllidaceae, Fabaceae, Apocynaceae, Minispermaceae, and Anonaceae, and finally Solanaceae. These plants families have more alkaloids compared to other families. So that's general characters of the alkaloids, so that we can learning state, solubility, optical activities, chemicals, nature, and physiological actions. So that we have learned states. Alkaloids are generally colorless and crystal solids which cannot be dissolved. A few of them are nicotine, agronine, and quinine are liquids are the lack of oxygen and volatile without decompose. So that it is a solubility. How it is the compounds are solubility, where it is compounds are alkaloids are dissolved. Expected liquid alkaloids other are insoluble and especially, but dissolved rarely in alcohols and soluble in chloroform, either benzene. So optical density we can expecting in alkaloids. Most of the alkaloids are optical active and levorotatory alkaloids. Alkaloids are basically nitrogenous organic products of the plants or some animals in origin. Have marked physiological activities when taken internally. When we are taking alkaloids internally, the molecule chiefly containing the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen elements. Nitrogen in the source of the basics of alkalinity. So that besides the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, most alkaloids contain the oxygen, and hence they are crystalline solids. Alkaloids are may containing a single nitrogen atom or many of the 5 nitrogen atoms. So that alkaloids have the complex molecule structure, have the heterocyclic ring of nitrogen. There are secondary and quaternary amines. Amines, they show basics alkaline properties. Strongly basics, they have salt in the inorganic and organic acids. So that physiological actions, most of the alkaloids have the intense and bitter taste and show make physiological actions. When check internal and say there are we use it therapeutically agent in medicines, in agriculture and forensic chemistry. So many alkaloids act on the central nervous system, especially Rahul P. serpentine. Rahul P. is a reserpine used as a control of the illness, madness. So that morphine is one of the narcotic actions. So quinine is antimicrobial malarial activities. Vinca is alkaloids used as the treatment of leukemia, especially cancer. Alkaloids classification. Alkaloids, how it is classified, they based on the plants and plant material. So that we can classify alkaloids are the basic nitrogenous and alkaline substance of the plant origin, have a marked physiological action in the human and animal bodies, which taken internal in a small dose and medicines. Alkaloids are usually classified according to the nature of the heterocyclic ring containing nitrogen atoms. Many of them alkaloids containing two or more heterocyclic rings, while other like epidrine do not contain many such rings. And the principles of alkaloids could be classified either by the biological systems in which they occur, for example, opium alkaloid, cinchona alkaloids, by their chemical structure, for the example of indolin alkaloids, furin alkaloids, pyridine alkaloids. A few of important classification of the alkaloids are, we can sing about this one: tropane alkaloids, pyridine alkaloids, alkaloid isoquinolines, phenanthrene alkaloids, furin alkaloids, indolin alkaloids, alkaloids, steroidal alkaloids, indole alkaloids. So that is classification on the basis of the source, and we can details we can see. Tropane alkaloids is a true Vidania somnifera. Pyridine alkaloids is quinine, nicotine, and cyanines. Alkaloids are the pyridine alkaloids, example tobacco and castors. Quinylene alkaloids is quinine, quinidine, and cinchonidine is the bark of the cinchona species. Isoquinoline, where is isoquinoline alkaloids present as a papaverine and berberine is opium barbaric plants. Indolinic alkaloids present and strychnia vomica, brucin, and reserpine. It is especially in the Naxivomica rahulpia serpentinum. Furin alkaloid, especially the caffeine, theobromine, and tea and coffee plants have a purine alkaloids. Phenanthrene, and another one is phenanthrene alkaloids is morphine codeine from the opium plants. Steroidal alkaloids from the Solanaceae family. For example, potato plants, potato have a steroidal alkaloids. Alkaloids amines, example epidrine from the Epitra species, we have alkaloid amines. Alkaloid extraction is one important from extraction process, how you can extract the particular alkaloids in particular plants. So alkaloid extraction is one important from extraction process, how you can extract the particular alkaloids in particular plants. So extraction, isolation, purification of alkaloid is very difficult, so that then novel technology is simplified the method of the extraction, isolation, purification. Extraction is using some of the in laboratory oxidative and isolation of the compounds, and purification purpose we have used in the column chromatography and other things. We have analysis in TLC, HPLC, HPLC, and other ion exchange chromatography. Everything we can use it for the purification purpose. So that alkaloids plants material is considered as a laboratory task because of the presence of the several closely related compounds. In addition, that other plants products like glycosides, organic acids to make isolation from the basics, and most alkaloids yield the salts which are the water soluble when treated with the acids. The important point of the alkaloids is when we are treated it is soluble water when treated with the acids. So separation of the alkaloids from the natural and insoluble plant constitution by salt formation is therefore relatively simply and straightforward. The source of material is a fresh and dry powder is the extraction with ethanol. The solvent is removed by the evaporation and residues is treated with the diluted nitrogen inorganic acids such as the hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acids. So when upon the base are the obtained as their soluble alkaloid salts. So that extraction by the alkaloids are set free. If insoluble and mix of alkaloids is separated by the filtration, otherwise extract with organic solvents such as chloroform, ether or alcohol. In the chloroform is intermediate solvents, and the alcohol, ethyl alkalis and methanol is one of the solvent is the polar solvents, so that they can dissolve anything in this polar solvents, other things. So if alkaloids to be extracted is volatile, means volatile substances, so it may be treated by the treating is solubility of finely divided raw material which are alkyl and the distillation of the stream. The solvent of crude extraction of the alkaloids is removed under the vacuum, and the crude mixture of alkaloids is of generally separate and purified by the fractions crystallines precipitation or by the chromatography. Purification is done by the distillation and after that vacuumation. The secondary method of the powder drug is moisture with water and mixed with lime with the combined with the acid, tannins, other phenolic substance. The extraction either carry out with the benzene on a petroleum ether. The organic layer is shaken with the aqua alkaline. Alkaloids are the remaining in the aqueous liquid are significance of the alkaloids in the human welfare purpose. So the Cinchona alkaloids, quinidine is a cardiac stimulator, and the quinine is a popular anti-malarial drugs. So that atropine is one of the lubricant and respiratory stimulated in atropine. Vinca alkaloids is vincristine, vinblastine for the use of the treatment of leukemia, and also it is used as a anti-diabetic activity and stimulate the insulin production in the pancreas of the beta cells in pancreas. So morphine for the opium is analgesic and hypertonic and narcotic drug. It is morphine is very narcotic drugs. Ecotine is the Econitum nifolius derived from the tuberose roots. It is used for the limits of the treatment of the neurological and rheumatoid arthritis and inflammation. It is compound ecotine is the control of the anti-inflammation in the when it is inflammation is the accumulation of water in the cells. So that's it. Why? Because the accumulation of water, the vacuole of the cell is disintegration of the membrane in the some factors, oxidative formation method, so that antioxidants are protection in the membrane degradation, so that it is one of the important anti-inflammation activity of the ecotine. So calcicin atamale, this is a calcicin also. Calcicin from the calcium atamale is used as a relevant pain relief, and also the anti-inflammation, and it is used for the gout arthritis control. It is also the polyploid. The calcicin is especially in the use in molecular biology for the product produce of the polyploid, means in the number of chromosome numbers increasing purpose. It is the calcicin. Epinephrine from the epitra are used for the early relief of the asthma. Asthma, it is a respiration problem, so that it is used asthma as a asthma. In the I also use a paper and whipping of cough. Ergot is alkaloids from the Claviceps purpurea are used in the liver to the assistant the delivery of the babies in pregnancy humans. It is very important. It actually Claviceps purpurea is ascomycetena fungus, so it is one of the important drug. It is alkaloids from the fungus. So that serpentine is Rahulpia serpenti. It is one of the important alkaloids for the controlling of the BP, and also caffeine is one of the important alkaloids from the coffee and tea. It is containing the caffeine alkaloids. Is very important to stimulate the central nervous system along in the blood and circumstances, so that it is when we are taking coffee, it is stimulates the central nervous system. It is lead and activation of the our brain system, so that it is important when we are taking limits of the coffee. But if you more than limit, it is very dangerous, especially in the age group. It is a stimulation, but after that it is unstimulated, and when we are stop the taking a tea or coffee, it is leads to inactivation of our body and cells. So that is very dangerous to take coffee or tea. And some of the research, especially in current research, is indication that coffee is one of the dangerous for the heart disease, especially it is leading of the heart diseases nowadays. People, many side effects are formation after continuous taking of the coffee, so that caffeine is good when we are taking in a limit amounts of the tea or coffee. After that, it is leads to side effects and cause to promote the lung diseases, and especially in the heart failure. The stimulation of the heart cells is every time it is very dangerous for the human life. So that is from the coffee. Physiological activities, metabolites control the metabolism in a particular plant physiology, and protection isn't, especially it is very important, protections from the abiotic factors of environment, and discourage animals and insects attack. It is very important when we are taking that taste is better, so that animals are not eat the particular plants. They are not toxic, exactly products of the toxic compounds. There are many ionic balance in the plants, especially it is alkaloids are balanced the plant metabolisms and other systems to maintain the stable equilibrium states, so that alkaloids are very important for the plant, their own method of the survival, so that alkaloids are very important. So this is the alkaloids basically broad. So we can see next for the future videos in phenolic compounds, tannins, the steroids and gums and other important secondary metabolites. This is important compounds are we are using for the purpose of the medicines. So these compounds are used as a Ayurvedic Ayurveda, but we are than nowadays is science are very improved, so that we are isolation and testing in particular compounds in a laboratory, and further we are extraction, purification, isolation, purification, so that it is very important in significance of the future generations. We have need and analysis of a particular compounds from the particular plants, what type of phytochemicals present in a particular plant. So we can learning more in further videos. Please subscribe my channel and like button. Thank you so much.